Hey guys.
Alright folks, we're here to check out the video that won the Patreon poll of the week. The name of the song is Follow the River. The name of the band, well, you can read that on the title of this video. It's not the first time that we check out this band on the channel, but I've learned from my previous lessons, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the name of the band. So, sounds like somebody's choking on something.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of sounds like. So, and I don't want to be insulting to anybody, but maybe I just was. But anyhow, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Alright, let's check this out. Oh, the bass. Just let him play it out. Yeah, just making sure that there was no jokes at the end or anything like that. Not that I was expecting that.
I was not expecting jokes. What do you think?
I'll say one thing. I didn't notice the time going by. I mean, the first thing I noticed before we clicked play was how long the video was. And then while I was watching the video and listening to the song, I completely forgot about the time.
For me,
which is a good sign.
Yeah, for me, only around the minute mark, maybe 2 minute mark, is when I stopped
looking at the time. For me, it was a minute and a half into the song.
It was that first
verse. The first minute and a half. I needed the first minute and a half to kind of get me there, but once I got there, after that 1 minute and a half, I completely forgot about
the first 2 minutes. Was
I only started noticing the time when the sound started to go down. When the sound started to go down, I looked at to see how much time was left.
For me, it was when the riff started to make sense. Because that first minute...
That's when you started looking at the time?
Yeah, which was like the...
No, but I'm saying I only thought about the time again when the sound started to go down.
For me, I'm counting the minutes when that hit, but then it started getting good and I stopped counting the minutes.
That's what I noticed the time up until that moment.
Yes.
Then I lost track of time.
Exactly.
And then time became apparent again when the sound started to go down, because it's over?
Yes.
It's over?
But then I looked at it and there was still like...
Yeah, but I know it's Napalm Records. At the end of the video, they have those click and go watch something else kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, it's because of that... The first verse, the guitar in the background...
even though the bass is really good, as the way it opens.
Yeah, but the guitar itself, the riff itself had no direction. Well, it had a direction, but normally a riff is... something, and then a good way to restart it, right? So you can continuously go with it without it seeming boring, and it's a good way. But for some reason, it was just a continuation. So instead of being like a normal,
instead of having a beginning, middle, and end, and then repeat,
it was just one. It was just beginning and continuous for that first verse, and then like a little bit after, it was just full continuous. Guitar, and I was caught off guard by it. Usually,
you were expecting it to go somewhere, stop, and then reset.
Exactly, but
as most songs
if anything, it didn't stop, and I was like, okay, it sounds weird because since it's now going in its own direction, and the vocals are now going in. I felt like I was listening to vocal prog. Like, the vocals were going in its own direction, and the guitars were off to the fucking fields. And I was, what the fuck's happening here? Then the guitars got back that pattern that, I know we like to say that, you don't want to be the cookie cutter thing, but that pattern is not cookie cutter. That pattern is what makes songs. It's what makes them work. Right,
it's the structure of
beginning, middle, end, and especially with riffs and different guitar melodies.
That's what makes those riffs hooky too,
and melodies too.
Yeah,
because they have a beginning, middle, and an end that can easily be looped back into that beginning.
Yeah.
But the fact that it didn't have any of that, just had a beginning and then continued, it lost me because now.
It's like where am I going here? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly, because when a riff hits you. That riff will always be in the background, but now you can focus. You can focus vocally.
With that one, you can't because it's too long for it to be.
So now, but when you do, then you can focus vocally because now you have that rhythm stuck in your head.
Yeah, so it becomes almost background.
Now it's background music, and you don't have to focus at it anymore.
It's just there.
It's just good, and it's there, and now you can focus on the vocals. But
and all the other elements.
The problem was, since it wasn't in the background anymore, I had to focus on the vocals and that.
And everything else. And the bass.
Everything else. But seeing where it was taking me. Because, okay, I want to know where the vocals are taking me. But I also want to know
where getting a blue screen.
Yeah, I want to know where this guitar is taking me. Where are you taking me? Please, give me some structure. There was no structure. Then, that 2 minute...
It was a void.
And then that 2 minute mark hit...
I would say about before the 2 minute.
A little bit before the 2 minute mark, and it got into more of a controlled, and
it had a more precise focus.
Exactly. musically, because musically it became more of, okay, now it's doing what it should have done before, right? And now I can
Or
focus,
what you were expecting it to do.
yeah,
before.
and now I can focus vocally, because now that everything is doing its thing and it's good. Because after, I really enjoyed the song after that portion, and it was good. Now I can focus vocally. It's just that first part. It was making me count the minutes. I'm like, fuck, like I'm getting lost.
Are we gonna go through 8 minutes
of this? Where because that's why I don't like prog, most prog at least, because everything's fighting with each other, and not only is it fighting, they're all going in different directions, and they're endless. Meaning I have to if I'm to get a prog song, I could never do an album review for a prog band. Could never do an album review in general. But I'm
so
saying,
you're just giving me some credit for what I do.
Exactly. But I'm saying, like, I would have to listen to the song at least, depending on how many members are in the band and how many elements are in the song, at least 10 times each song, just to get my thought on the song. Because the first time I'm like, okay, guitar run through, and I gotta listen to the guitar the entire song, because
you would have to be in the studio, and you would have to like listen to the single tracks.
It's like Twizzlers, like, you know, like the Twizzlers.
Yeah, candy, when you break them apart.
But you can break them apart like string cheese and shit.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Prog is string cheese.
Prog is just string cheese. It's all one.
But it's not prog. I mean, it's kind of proggy, but they're not like a prog band.
Of course, it's all one block of cheese, but you can strip it down and get to the.
Oh, I get you.
Right.
That's why for me, prog is sometimes it's kind of good, sometimes it's kind of shit.
Exactly, but I feel like I'm just too stupid for prog. But you.
Me too. Unless the Cryptex is playing. And then I honestly don't care what they're playing. I just want to see them.
I just want to see John C. Reilly.
Fuck, man. Those guys are so good live. It's not even funny.
One of the best live bands I've seen in the past year.
Yeah. They're up there as one of my favorite live bands I've ever seen. So much fun.
So much fun, man.
But anyways, we don't want to get sidetracked. But go check them out. They're from Germany. Go check them out.
It's the Germans. Yes.
Yeah, the Germans.
But yeah, I was just like, what the fuck? We've done this band before. I'm like, but who invited Torchia?
I thought about that too. Okay, I was not alone on that.
Yeah, I was like, we've done this band before, and I feel like we should have said it in the last one, but I'm like, who the fuck invited Torchia?
They crashed. You know those Finns. You know how they are.
Yeah.
They smelled beer.
What happened to Torchia? Like, why is this happening?
They smelled beer and they showed up.
But yeah,
I thought the same thing.
That's what came to mind.
Every time I see a guy with his eyes blindfolded, or with something that covers their head in the eyes, I'm like, Torchia. Yeah, those guys from Tampere are back at it again. It was not them.
It was not them.
They're definitely not this technical.
No.
They're a little bit more straightforward. That's not. I'm not downplaying them. It's not a diss. It's just different sound. It's what it is.
Yeah. But yeah, after that, I started to enjoy myself a lot more. There was actually more parts that made sense in my brain.
It became a little bit more atmospheric as well.
It became more atmospheric, and it stopped with that prog element that was at the front there. And I enjoyed it. After that, like that.
Yeah, after that, I
situation.
completely lost track of time.
So you're with me on that?
100%. I had the exact same experience.
Where it was like, where the fuck?
Like
is
I'm
this
looking
guitar
at,
going?
I'm enjoying, I'm listening to it, but I'm also looking at the timing because I'm thinking, fuck, if it's like 7 minutes of this,
I'm lost.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
Mental gymnastics trying to jump over the fucking vocals, see where the hell that guitar is
My
going.
brain is like getting Arrow 404, like page not found here.
And every time I thought it was gonna reset, it never did. It was like da na 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 na, and then it would, instead of going back, like trying to.
My brain was having the circle of death.
Yeah,
like the circle of death was happening in my brain.
It was like the that dragon. I can't remember the name of the thing. In Seven Deadly Sins, or the Seven Deadly Sins. The dragon that eats itself.
It's the snake that eats their own skin.
Yeah,
snake eats their own tail.
Its own tail.
Yeah, it's like the never-ending cycle.
I can't remember the fucking name of it.
It's not important. But anyways, I feel exactly the same way. I had the same experience as you. But then once we got over that hump, the song was completely immersing. I lost track of time. I was just enjoying. I was just going for the ride. I was just taking it all in. And then I didn't realize the song was coming to an end until the sound starts to dip. And then when it starts to dip, I'm like, what? It's over? Already?
But I was like...
It goes from it went like this song had like 3 moments, right? The first moment is like, fuck, if it's gonna be like this is gonna be a hell of a long track, and I'm not gonna like it. Then you're like, oh man, this feels really good, and then it's like, fuck, is it over already?
Yeah.
Like it had 3 different moments, so it's really interesting. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too.
It was. I know, but that made it. I think that made the whole song way more interesting.
I don't know, man.
We wouldn't be talking about it for this long if it wasn't for that.
It would have just been a good song.
Yeah, but now it's a little bit more than a good song, because now you talk about it.
Yeah, but now it's a good song, but if I'm going to listen to it, I got to skip that first part. Fuck that.
I think after you listen to it a couple of times, it might become a little bit more
natural.
Yeah,
because after a couple of times, I'll realize where the fuck the guitar went, and where, because like I said...
You'll break it down.
I'll break it down. So I don't want to break it down. I'm not DX.
Okay, alright. Break those walls down. Was that DX?
No, but DX was break it down. Boom,
oh yeah. Because break those walls down was El Ocho.
You generate into something full. Just got time.
By the way, speaking of El Ocho, this past week we met the guy who mixes for Fozzy.
Oh,
fuck! That was such a great moment.
Yeah.
Fuck! It was one of the highlights of the weekend.
That and definitely Chylinski.
No, Chylinski. Yeah,
Chylinski.
He sent me a message today, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah. And I got a picture of him with a green shirt.
Oh.
Because I told him you can't be walking around like that.
You have to have like that,
the snipers will
military.
Yeah.
Green...
So he sent me a picture.
Oh, for fuck's
I'll show you.
Show it.
And separated at birth. Separated at birth. That's all I gotta say. Anyways, if you want to know exactly what we're talking about, you have to follow us on Instagram and Facebook in order to get the inside jokes. Which, by the way, you should be following us on every platform.
Exactly.
Obviously, this one is the main one, but we post really super good content on Instagram. For example, if you want to find out exactly who we be hanging out with during Prog Power, who we were rubbing shoulders with during Prog Power, go on Instagram and you check out our pictures and you'll see the who's who of Prog Power was with us.
Yeah.
I almost feel like we were the who's who of Prog Power at one point, but maybe not quite.
I was like, we're behind the scenes doing our interviews and stuff.
Yeah, man, that was like it was fucking phenomenal. But anyway, there's videos coming about that. This was a great track to check out. I had fun. It was an interesting conversation as well. So we'll see you all next video.
See ya.